How'd you end up doing the Good Morning America thing in Alabama though?
Well, because I'm a participating author for the Behind the Ink Festival this Saturday, and I'd been a guest on their show last summer when I did a benefit signing at the Negro Southern League Museum based on the book I did on baseball. So everything worked out for me to leave this morning to do my live interview to help close out this morning's show. Their turnaround is real quick because like my time slot was like 10:50 Eastern Standard Time. By one
Mm-hmm.
o'clock, interview posted. That's what I like about the ABC affiliate here. They don't. There's to put it in perspective. I did a virtual interview March 29th with one of the NBC affiliate in Columbus, Georgia. They've yet to post that interview. That was for the Derby. Yet for an interview I did live and in studio today, within like 2 3 hours, they had that junk posted. So it happens sometimes.
What a difference the world made, huh?
And
I mean, a world of difference.
and the fact I think now I have familiarity with the producers and stuff. They're like, don't be a stranger. So I mean, I'm like, all right, if you're gonna keep bringing me back on, I'm gonna keep coming.
Right. That's like when they see you at the door, they tap you, hey Drew, what's happening, man? They done got familiar with you.
Hey man, I'm
They
gonna
they
keep.
already know how your coffee fits. They was like, yo, black two sugars, right? I got you. Don't worry about it.
Hey man, and now I'm getting messages right now from folks. It's like, are you in Birmingham? I'm like, yeah, man, because this weekend is big. The festival's going on. It's Earth Day this Saturday. NASCAR's going on. Talladega race is going on Sunday. Now I'm heading back Saturday because I'm not trying to deal with that Talladega traffic like Sunday.
Right. And so
Yeah,
Alabama's jumping this weekend.
it is. It is. It's just like I'll put it like this. I think people sleep on Beham. It's not that far of a drive. You can get around relatively easily. Obviously it's not as much as Atlanta, but there's still a good amount of stuff to do. So
You know
yeah,
what? I learned one of those things, not being able to travel abroad through the pandemic, that this main 48 has plenty to offer.
you know what? Look, there's still places like I've been to the West Coast, but I'd like to go to the Pacific Northwest. Like it would be neat to go to Seattle or go to Vancouver or something like that.
That's on my list too.
It was good when I went back home last month. Usually when I go back to Jersey, I'm spending time with my folks. But with how everything worked out, it's like it was great hopping on the train, going back into the city, man. It reminded me of how fun that is and how easy that is to get, hop on the train, like from where I grew up, get off at Penn Station, which is right next to Madison Square Garden, and you just hop on whatever train from there. And it is a train mentality because like 9 10 million people live there. You can't drive. I mean, you can drive, but you get stressed out. Hop on the train, and it takes you right like everywhere you need to go. Like
Yeah, ain't no need to drive.
there's no need to drive. Get that? I still have my path card sitting in my wallet, so I can renew that joint next time I go home. Like I'm saying, like but like you said, there's a lot of stuff just to explore in the southeast. Let's just start there. The coast, the mountains, neighboring states. There's a lot of
Hmm.
things that wineries. You got the Bourbon Trail in Kentucky and Tennessee. Like there's a lot of stuff. The Alpha Derby weekend. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, man. There's a lot.
Then there's that.
But I know, but there's a lot of stuff to be able to do. So don't get
Absolutely.
going over. It's been a while since I've been overseas. It is a wonderful experience. You see how other people move and operate, and you respect how other cultures do things, and it gives you an appreciation of where you are, and you can kind of take the best of what other people do and how do you apply it, with where you are. So there is something to be said to go overseas, but like you said, there's a lot of exploration here. We know there's people that live here that've never been on a train, never been on an airplane, never been, never
Mm.
for crying out loud, never seen the ocean or the Gulf or the Great Lakes or the Mississippi River or the Grand Canyon. So, like you said, there's enough stuff here for you to take advantage of. So, while you can do it, man, go ahead.
And that's real right there. That's real. We used to say that it was some folks in Georgia that had never been outside of 285. You know what I'm saying?
Look, there are people like where my mom used to teach. in Asbury Park. Asbury Park is 1 square mile, so the eastern half sits right on the ocean. And there were some kids that she taught that said that they'd never seen the Atlantic Ocean, even though they lived a mile away from it.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, and even when I remember when I was in the school system, there were like the nonprofit me and my frat brother had. It was like the very first college tour we did was on yellow school buses down to Clark, Atlanta, and like half the kids hadn't been to the AU Center, and they lived in like Norcross, Tucker, Duluth, which ain't that far. So there's, like you said, there's a world outside the same 15, 20 minutes that you always travel. That
Mm-hmm.
you don't have to necessarily go to college, but go set foot on a college campus and see the energy that's there. You might not necessarily like sports, but go to a sporting event. You might not necessarily like art, but go to an art gallery, go to a dance class. Like, don't be afraid to do something a little bit different. Even if you never go again, you have the experience, and you never know where it can take you. People you can meet, whatever. And like I say, don't judge a book by its cover. You gotta read the book to know what's going on. You know, those
There's that's
continue.
real right there. That's a quotable right there. Don't judge a book by its cover because you got to read the book, know what's going on. That's
Yeah,
quotable right there. I'm just have
I'm
to steal that if I can remember it between now and tomorrow.
so it's like I'm gonna come up with something, but
Of
no,
course.
there's like you said, there's so many things that we can take advantage of that you don't have to break your budget or your wallet or pocketbook, and you can do creative things. So man,
Absolutely.
or listen to ATL's highest DJ for crying out loud, man. Look,
I mean, look, I got plenty of reruns on YouTube. You ain't even got to catch it like, oh man, I missed it Thursday. That's quite all right. My reruns are up that same night. So if you missed the 8 o'clock showing, it's cool. By the time I get off, give it about an hour. Yeah, YouTube already have it there waiting on you. Facebook still got them sitting there. So yeah, don't worry about if you missed the live. It's cool. We got reruns.
and
But yo, that red box in the corner, sitting up here by my head, says that we are live. What's good, people? Y'all know who it is. It's the two-time ATL hottest DJ, the God DJ Agony, also known as Dr. Dope. Well, my motto is simple: own the building. Appreciate y'all and a big shouts out to everybody that tuned in last week to the dope show. Yo, man, we got plenty more dope to go around. Like it's nothing but like plus size from here on out. I got so many things planned. If y'all been following the pages, y'all been seeing things coming up with the Catrice Austin Day coming up Juneteenth weekend down in Barnesville. I will be there. And then there's this other event that this gentleman right here is here to talk to us about that's coming up in about 2 weeks, give or take. But before we get into that, for the people who have been living in a closet under a rock or just been out there with a blindfold on and do not know who that gentleman is, because he shared that side of the screen with me before. But if y'all don't know, tell them folks who you is and what you do, sir.
hey, good evening, everybody. First off, thank you for having me back on your amazing platform. To your amazing audience out there, hope you're having a good day, a good week. I'm the author Andrew Snorton, and some of the moving parts I have since 2017 published 4 books, 5 audiobooks as part of a series. Currently, I'm joining you from Birmingham, Alabama, where this weekend I'm one of the participating authors for the Behind the Ink Festival. On the press and media end, I'm still taking a little bit of breather from my show on the Status Network live TV channel called The Conversation Corner, where we bring in different guests across the entertainment business community and more. But also on the press and media end, I'm on the media list for 2 of our congressmen. Um, I've covered college sports, pro sports, bowl games, arts and entertainment, nonprofits, just a number of good things. And then on the education end, previously taught in Gwinnett County Public Schools, but I still do a lot of individual tutoring, virtual tutoring, ACT and SAT prep, and things along those lines. And actually circling back on the author end, also have a collaborative coffee project with Fonte's Coffee out in Louisville, Kentucky. So those are some of my moving parts, but I tell you what, just like our host said, I am sincerely excited for what is coming up the first weekend of May 5th through 7th, the Alpha Derby weekend hosted by the Alphas of Atlanta, which is a 501c3 nonprofit made up of members of all 10 of the graduate chapters of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated. So I'm real excited to be able to spend a lot of time talking about that. We'll circle back on my stuff at the very end. But hey, we just want you to find out more about being a part of the winner circle and how you can enjoy yourself. And bigger than just enjoying yourself, you're enjoying yourself that much more because of the great causes that are supported. So whenever you're ready to throw some questions so I can help our audience get a point of reference and be like, get your coins up quickly. So
Mm-hmm. Like
line
quick fast, y'all. Like hurry up.
out and have a nice time. So by all means, go ahead.
What he's saying is, do not take your tax money and go buy a '96 Celica. Spend it wisely. That's what he's saying, y'all. But so one of the things it kind of caught my attention when I first heard it this weekend is that how is it that AFI, Black institution, Kentucky Derby, not thought of as a black institution? How did that collaboration happen? How does that link?
Well,
Because you know what we do? We throw Super Bowl parties. We throw spades tournaments. You know what I'm saying? We get together to watch the finals, the boxing match. It's probably gonna be how many parties this weekend because of the boxing match coming on. But for something like the Kentucky Derby, which is, you know,
and I'm glad you bring that up. What a lot of people don't realize historical analysis of the Kentucky Derby, which always takes place in Louisville, Kentucky, it was started by black folk. The first jockeys, trainers, all that were people of black and brown. And
interesting.
a lot of people don't realize it. Just like you think about a number of like for term inventions, a gas mask, traffic light, all those types of things were established and created by black and brown people. It gradually transformed into the mainstream event that you see today. But if you do your history and do your research, and part of what we do is when we have our scrolling displays and things along those lines, we let people know black folks got this up and running. And so that's one of those missing pieces that a lot of people don't know. But fast forwarding to how the Alphas of Atlanta came together to make this a signature event, it really kind of the seeds got planted in the summer of 2014. And it was a collective of members of our graduate chapters, or pretty much almost all of them in Atlanta. And we wanted to come together to do something that would a nice event, but nicer than the event would be supporting some great causes. And we realized looking at the landscape that there was something that nobody was doing or nobody was doing to the extent that it could be. So when we did our inaugural Alpha Derby weekend in 2015, our hotel was the W in Buckhead. And our venue was the City Club of Buckhead. And we kind of knew that we were onto something because we were expecting our Friday night was basically we're going to meet up at the rooftop bar. We expected 75 to 100 people to come. We had like 300 people show up. The next day was the main event, like the hat contest, watch party, all that. We had like 900 people come. So for our inaugural year, we had 1,200 people come, and we had about a third of our people come from outside the state of Georgia. Like people traveled from Chicago, New York, the DMV, which is DC, Maryland, Virginia,
Maryland, Virginia. Facts.
D, Charlotte, North Carolina, Music City, Nashville, where I am right now, Magic City, Birmingham, and all those types of things. So then in 2016, we decided for the Friday night kickoff, well, let's, have a DJ, live band, a nice event, expecting about 300 people. We had like 600 people come out the second year. And for that Saturday main event, it went up to about like 11, 1,200. So now we saw that what we were doing was providing people a great destination event if you were coming from out of town, for people in town, just a nice balance of a fun day Friday, Saturday sophistication, things along those lines. Then in 2017, it evolved to adding that Sunday brunch. And we're like, okay, maybe 200, 300 people would come to the Sunday brunch. And the first year we did the brunch, we had like 400 people come out. So now we knew we had an event that was high quality. People had fun. People kept things, respectful. But the biggest thing is the proceeds were going to multiple nonprofits. So when you think of nonprofits that were attached to the member chapters that are doing college fairs, college tours, scholarship programs, male mentoring, things along those lines. What makes the Alpha Derby weekend the success that it is we know the reason why we're doing it. And we can walk and chew gum at the same time. We can have fun, but you have more fun when you know you're able to seed plant and leave a positive footprint in different spaces and places. So 2017 was that first year of doing it as a 3-day weekend. 2018, we strengthened the Friday night kickoff. So in 2018, we had hip hop icon Dougie Fresh as our headliner. We had our main event on Saturday, Sunday brunch. 2019, we were blessed to have both Big Daddy Kane and Chub Rock as our headliners. Saturday event, Sunday brunch. Obviously, 2020 and 2021 were different due to COVID, but
Mm-hmm.
to the people who see what we're doing, they see our intent. Last year for 2022, we incorporated a golf tournament where we had almost 100 players. We had the Friday night kickoff where last year it was with Slick Rick, Saturday's main event, and then Sunday's brunch. And to have an attendance that, like in 2017, excuse me, in 2018 and 2019, the combined attendance was about 7,000 people. So averaging about 3,500 per year. Last year was the first year we returned to the standard 3-day format and had about 3,000 people, give or take.
Mm-hmm.
That speaks to people showing a want, readiness, and willingness to support us so we can support our communities and have fun while we're doing it. So we thank everybody, near and far, whether you only came for one day, you came for the entire weekend, you hit like, share, all those types of things mean something because, again, if our purpose was not community focused. There's no way we get the support that we're getting. So we are thankful and grateful. We've been rolling up our sleeves, putting in work. I am part of an amazing committee chaired by Michael Jones and Robert Cunningham, who do tremendous work. But all of the members on our committee, they have their space where they do outstanding things. And the bottom line is we are doing this for the community. We are doing things to see how can we make a bigger community footprint. And like I said, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can be sincere with your purpose, but have fun doing it. And that's what we do. So we are, like I said, excited, grateful, and we want people to, as best as possible, partake in being a part of the winner circle.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. Yo, and we got Miss Parker, the other half of the planning period, in the building. Miss Parker, what happened with you?
Good evening, gentlemen, and please forgive my tardiness. I was on God mommy duty. Had to make sure these little ones have had dinner and they're on their way to bed. So please forgive me. Please forgive my tardiness, sir. I do appreciate you being here with us. I've heard great things about you and about the derby that's coming up. So just excited to share the screen with you this evening.
Hey, first off, hey, we understand when Duke calls, you all thank you for being the resource you are, as being a godparent and family, things along those lines. And thanks for jumping on and thank you for your warm welcome. Seriously, thank you.
Thank you.
No doubt. So one of the things that I noticed, particularly about Friday nights, is y'all are pulling some big names out. How is it that y'all able to reach that level of star quality? You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, you said Dougie Fresh, Chub Rock. I was there for Slick Rick, and I was like, wow, that's like Slick Rick looks the same as he did back in 80 something something. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know what that brother's doing. I'll tell you who else. And and like I said, shouts to all the previous performers as well as this year. But Dougie Fresh, that man keeps himself in outstanding shape. And like you said, all of them, they're just, hey man, they're just still going strong. So shouts to everybody. Seriously.
But so like that's what I'm saying. Like, so what did you have to what how hard was it to get them to come perform?
I think what it is when I look back at 2018, we were able to basically show what we're doing, and just like you do with your show, you get the who, what, when, why, and how. I really feel ultimately is because everybody on committee is doing their job to the best of their ability. And so when you're able to have like-minded people come together for a great cause, it's not about the titles and all that. It's about we're here to do the work. So it really starts with the tone that's set not only by our co-chairs but everybody that's on committee. And when I look at 2018, what really I think was the key thing for getting Dougie Fresh in 2018 was the body of work we were able to do from 2015 to 2017. We grew each year. We added a day, and that's a byproduct of the hard work. It's a byproduct of people seeing us working and doing so for a real cause and real reason. Like anybody can grow a party. It ain't hard to do. Anyone can grow a party, but
Yeah.
passionate about your purpose and knowing that you can do something along those lines to give back to help support the younger versions of us. So maybe the younger versions don't have to do as much maneuvering as we've had to. And when we're clear in articulating that whole walk and chew gum at the same time, when you're able to have those conversations. So we're thankful to the entire, this team for thinking enough of us to be like, of all the places we could go, we're going to be the same thing with Big Daddy Kane and Chub Rock. Of all the places they could have gone, they chose to be here. The same thing with Slick Rick last year. Of all the places they could have gone, they chose to be. Shouts to their DJs. Shouts to their DJ Chaos from last year. Shouts to Bill Will and Bill Will and Barry B. All those, all what we were doing. It's like, you know what? This is something that we can attach ourselves to, and we are again, I know I'm going to use this a lot of time. We are thankful. We are grateful. And it's things like that that reinforce the why behind we do this event and providing people with a great experience. So it's really sharing our story. This is what we do. Bottom line, this is who we are. This is what we do.
No doubt, no doubt.
Yeah. I mean, thank you so much for what you all are doing. So many times, especially Black men of color, we don't always salute you all for what you do. And the thing is, I just had a discussion with someone actually today, and I was just saying that, Black men are active. They're in the community. Their hands are on these children, not just our boys, but on our daughters as well. I said, but many times they move without the accolades because they're not used to receiving them. They do what they're supposed to do. And no, you don't really have the big amen choir behind you all, or people who are saying, oh, no one's really going live when you all are doing things. But when I was at Boys and Girls Club, I had an 11-year relationship that I still have to this day. But 11-year relationship with the graduate chapter of Kappa Alpha Psi out there in Carrollton and Douglasville. And when I tell you, there was nothing those gentlemen did not bring to the table. And I do know across the board, yes, it's all Greek love across the board, but it just shows that there are so many men like you, Mr. Snorton, who you're in a community. Your hands are on these young people and you have a vision for them. So if no one has told you thank you today, who looks like me, someone with the XX chromosome, let me be the first today to say thank you. I salute you. And anything that we could do to continue to support working with the youth, impacting the community, please say so. But I salute you, sir. Thank you so much.
Well, I appreciate it, but it's team effort. And it's like I said before, we've been blessed committee wise to have outstanding leadership who gets it. We've been blessed to have outstanding committee members who have served in leadership capacities, whether through the lens of fraternity, their alumni associations, community organizations, and just being around. just truly good, truly sincere, truly outstanding people, that's what they say your reflection of the company that you keep. So for you being kind enough to share what you shared about me, I'm just trying to do it right. I'm just trying to do right and just be around good people and just try to, just like there's others help me along the way. You're the best way you can say thank you to those who helped you is reach back and help somebody else. And
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
the, like my grandmom said when she was living, take time to see about people. So seeing about people is, like you alluded to, taking that time to volunteer. You're taking that time to be as engrossed and ingrained in your communities as possible, or you're supporting people who are making the effort through whatever means, nonprofit, our educators, to anyone doing things that are really people driven and community driven. So I thank you for the accolades, but I would be remiss if I did not acknowledge everybody at the bottom who's been on our committee, who is on our committee, who is just sincerely about doing the work to the best of our ability. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed, yes, indeed. So let me ask you. So I'm looking at the flyer for this Friday night. By the way, for y'all that didn't pay attention, Dope will be in the building. Yeah. So then there's that. We're there again. Yay, Dope. But I'm looking at the lineup. Fabo, Lil Scrappy, Pastor Troy. Like that's a real ATL whole type
It's
lineup.
an
Like
ATL concert. Is what we're. It's getting ready to be an ATL experience.
and that reminds me of the days like growing up here and like going to the clubs where this before they blew up. You'll see them at the Bounce on Saturday or at the Megaplex or what have you. So it's like, wait a minute, 20 something years later, it's happening again. Like, what was the thought behind putting that lineup together?
I tell you what, that's a really good question because usually for Friday night it is old school hip hop, but old school means different things to different people. So we the first 3 years of bringing in, our headliners, we definitely lean towards the 80s, 80s and 90s like the golden. But to your point, people have to remember, especially when Andre 3000 made this famous quote at the Source Awards, "The South's got something to say."
Facts.
Ever since that happened, Atlanta has, in its 25 or so years of, let's say, being on the hip hop scene and all that type of thing, Atlanta has and is still leaving a major footprint in regard
Mhm.
to music. And when you think about the previous generation, you think about it like artists from the 80s and 90s. What happens 20 years later? You reintroduce them so people understand these are the folks that help set the tone for a number of things going on. And I think in Atlanta, especially when you think about the early part of the 2000s, you think about the energy, you think about the creativity, you think about the willingness to say some things that other people weren't, the willingness to talk about different subjects that other people weren't, a different way to show that you were flossing and flexing and things along those lines. We felt that this year, in still keeping with the old school or middle school theme, however you want to call it, that we definitely go to Atlanta. So whether, like I said, all the artists, Fabo to Young Dro, Pastor Troy, who I've seen before, does such, you know, that Joker right there just yeah, all of them bring it. But Pastor Troy definitely brings an energy, and to be able to add little scratch in there, I mean, we're excited. It's
Mhm.
going to be a different buzz and a different energy. But like you said, folks that have been up and down, out here in the city, out here in the metro area, East Point, College Park, you know, all the different points. I'm not going to say all the streets. You gotta know where I'm going with this. I think it's good to be able to acknowledge the city in which a lot of us live, work, play, to be able to bring that energy. I think that is a wonderful thing, and we are excited. The response has been amazing, and that comes back to just saying thank you. It's
So I have a question.
yes,
So
ma'am.
I'm hearing Young Dro, Pastor Troy, and don't get me wrong, I'm a Midwestern from Chicago. And I will say that it was definitely outcast for us that made us look at the South because until then, it was just Florida that was represented via Two Live Crew and Trick Daddy and Trina. And it was like, okay, so the South is just kind of raunchy. But when Outcast came out, I said, well, hold on, who are these guys? So it really kind of made an impact. But now that the South is on the map, I'm hearing all these other names, but there's a name that I'm listening for that I don't know if you all considered him, but Banner is in Atlanta.
There's a lot, and I think what makes we, all the years that we've done the Friday kickoff. I mean, there are some amazing suggestions. There are some amazing artists out there, and I tell you what, it's not as easy a process as you think, or it's like, hey,
Oh,
let's.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
I think what we do is like anybody, we work with what we feel like we can do a solid job, a capable job, and be able to build and be able to grow. I think that we've, like I said before, been very fortunate, very blessed that the response from not only the arts and entertainment community, but the community at large has been like, all right, we see what y'all are doing. Let's go ahead and see what see what you're about. And for, like I said earlier, for our attendance to grown pretty much each and every year, pre-COVID, and then last year really not maybe about a 400 or 500 person difference. The first year of doing it the way we're used to in about 3 years. I mean, we're like I said, we're just grateful. Thank everybody. Like seriously, we thank everybody for it. So this, and we're excited in the future. Something like this shouts to what we can do in future years. So we know the future is bright, and as long as we just hide behind what we're doing and have be in good shape.
No doubt, no doubt. We got Tina Cheatham in the building. What's happening, Tina?
Hey, good evening, Miss Cheatham. Hopefully you're having a good evening and a good weekend. Hopefully you'll be able to join us in a couple of weeks.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's been a regular on the dope show the past, I would say, a few months. It's just she showed up and then she never left, and I was like, you know
Right.
what, that's
That's
cool
Tina.
too. That's cool too. Hey, come on in. We got plenty of couch space.
Hey, you know why? When you have two amazing, hosts. Come on, I'm gonna give you gave me, my flowers. I gotta give y'all yours. When you've got two amazing hosts that bring intellect, humor, a positive spirit. I mean, who wouldn't want to be part of what your show's about?
Oh, thank you.
You would think that, right? Of course, you want to hang out with me.
Exactly. You know what's good for you.
Right, of course you'd want to hang out with me. I'm cool. We
And not,
cool like that.
and I have to say, Miss Parker, like you said, Chicago, what, South Side's the best side?
South side's the best side.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to leave it there. I ain't going to call cops or anything along those lines. I'm just like, all right.
All right then.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. So the day of the Derby, how does that day play out? Because it's one of those things like with not actually being in Kentucky, but say having more like a watch party, but with the full festive thing going on. Like, how does that play out?
Well, I tell you what, we're excited, especially this year. We have to acknowledge our title sponsors, Brown Foreman, who's the parent company of Woodford Reserve, which a number of you know, Woodford Reserve is the actual official beverage of the actual Kentucky Derby in Churchill
Mhm,
Downs. We are
mhm.
one handful of non-Churchill Downs events that they support. We are thankful and grateful for that. We are thankful and grateful for adding Volkswagen as a
Oh wow.
that is a blessing. Another corporation, Anheuser-Busch, is on board.
All
So
right.
we are like, again, and I hate to sound like a broken record, it's the byproduct of number one, what is the end game?
What you're doing, yes.
It really is. And it's a byproduct, again, of our leadership and the leadership that's within our that's within our committee. So to have those folks on board, being able to not only see the actual race, but just the engagement with the hat contest, which is I tell you what, ladies, I tell you what, some of these ladies game plan like it's like nothing. I mean, it's serious. Uh,
Yes.
have different special guests to come in. Last year, we were very fortunate to have a video greeting from uh, Mayor Dickens. We were fortunate to have Councilman Byron Amos join us last year. This year, we're keeping it. We're gonna reveal the hand, real close. But we're excited with the special guests that we have. That are bidding greetings from the public sector and things along those lines. But I tell you what, Saturday is a lot of fun. The number of people, the women are you know, just in regards to the regalia is amazing. The fellas are breaking out the fedoras, they're breaking out all those types of things, and it's just a good energy. We have to give our audience credit. We've been blessed. It is a good energy. So whether it's your first time and being there last year Friday night, it's just a fun energy where again, great cause, great people, great purposes. So the watch event is a lot of fun. Last year, what we were actually in previous years in 2019 for our watch event, we had a special performance by We Are Fly. So the folks that do swag surf. They did that
Okay.
for us in 2019. Last year, was kind of a bridge for the ATL theme that we have for our Friday night kickoff. Last year for our Saturday event, we actually time off it. You know, people didn't go. People knocked if you bug. Nobody got hurt, but people. So we're again. It just comes back to the purpose, the leadership from the co-chairs, the leadership that's exhibited by the people that are on committee, the support that we get not just from Atlanta, like I was sharing earlier. Chicago is one of our top out of town cities. The DMV is one of our top out of town cities. New York, I grew up in New Jersey, but the whole tri state, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, is big. The QC, Charlotte, North Carolina, where I am, Birmingham, Alabama, Nashville, Tennessee, Orlando, Florida, the Triangle, Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, the Triad, Winston-Salem, Greensboro, High. When you have, again, when 1 out of 3 people that comes to our from outside the state of Georgia, that in years, I've had relatives who live in Kentucky come to our event. So I mean, when you have that type of support, you can't help but feed off the positive energy. When you have, the ideal purpose and principles, it's easy to feed off of that energy. When we've had great people, record, all that type of guys doing a job last. Everybody helping share our story. I mean, it is a blessing, and that keeps us energized and excited to roll up our sleeves and put in work. Hey, cowgirl, hey, cowgirl, 4L, thanks for joining us. And I tell you what, you're absolutely right. It's a great event. You can have fun, kick back, relax, network. Um, I'd be remiss to say, even now, if you have a business, like we try to make it accessible. Business sponsorships start at 150, like 150 bucks. Our business sponsorship levels start at 150 and they close out at our title sponsors at 10,000. So we want to make sure that if you're a smaller business, you still have access to being able to sponsor, being able to get your information out, being able to connect with different audiences. So we have a sophisticated event, but we have different access points where folks can, do your business sponsorship. You can do these types.
Yeah, one thing that you brought up that I wanted to touch on was particularly the networking. So you never know when we think about celebrities, athletes, rappers, singers, entertainers. It's who always comes to mind. Last year, I'm meeting people. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Oh, I'm the county commissioner for here. Oh, how you doing, sir? I'm good. Yeah, I run the Atlanta Voice, the newspaper. We're leaning over into a more digital form now, and I'm like, wait a minute. Like, I'm in a room full of celebrities that aren't entertainers. I thought that was the dope part about it. You know what I'm saying? The networking is crazy, crazy networking. Like if you don't meet somebody who does what you do or can help you do what you do, that's your fault. You did something wrong. Start over and do it again.
I tell you what, you said a word right there. It's one of those where, like you said, there's people from all different walks of life, small business, people in government, people in that great blend of a little bit of everybody. It's exciting. Like you said last year, there are so many. You have the potential to really make some meaningful contacts, whether they're a fit for you or they could be a fit for somebody else. And that comes back to what I was saying on that business sponsorship piece. We're fortunate to have two title sponsors this year. That is a blessing, seriously. But
Mm,
the number of businesses that get in at 150, that get in at 350, that get in at 500. So that way, if you're a smaller business, that can fit into your budget and something that you can recoup, and still get exposure to people that might be looking for someone like you. So whether you do landscape, you do photography, you DJ, whatever, I mean, there are probably people there that are looking for a business like yours to connect with. So definitely, anyone out there, and we'll make sure to definitely provide the website, social media, all that. But
absolutely.
if you have just a want and willingness to do something constructive, there is a space for you at our event. Seriously, there.
Absolutely. It's somebody there that does any and everything you could think of. I've yet to meet an astronaut, but that was just my first year.
But
Right.
Lord, with what we're doing in regards to giving back, we might be developing the next astronaut. You never know.
This, these are facts.
Absolutely. I mean, because you never know. You never know who's the next. You never know who's the next Arthur Snorton. You don't know who's the next DJ Agony. You just don't know. So yeah, you just never know. So
Next next DJ Agony better be downstairs doing his homework right now.
I mean, who you telling?
Or he is if he knows what's good for us.
Then there's that part. But yeah, man, like so Derby weekend was at May 5th through the 7th. Um as far as this particular year, 2023 edition, what is your vision? What are you seeing coming from this? So when you look back on it Monday morning, what can you sit there and say, like, you know what? That's that one right there.
And by the way, do you all have a theme? Like, is there a theme that you're hoping that you're building 2023 on? Because of course, most people see 23 as the Jordan year. So with this being such, was it with it being that year? Is that something that you all are saying, okay, 23 got to be it? This is what we're doing.
I think that's a great question. I think the underlying theme has always been being part of the winner circle. And what does winner circle mean? A win.
Okay.
It also means a win for the people that are there, a win for letting people know people can come together for a good cause. Um, Wins for people rediscovering it, wins for people traveling outside the market their calendars. Like we open up our ticket sales January 1st, and I can tell you point blank, within the first month of our ticket sales, and we are thankful again for the support, all of our VIPs sold out the first
Oh
month.
wow.
So even that when February hit, don't get me wrong, you can still get a ticket, but the Saturday only VIPs and the weekend VIPs were gone by the first month of sales.
Wow.
So when I think about the underlying theme of the winner circle, the number one win is really the win for the community. The number two win is the win for the people who come, whether you do the entire weekend, you do a day, but you still are there to support. The wins are for the businesses that support, and especially, like I said, those business sponsorships start at one. So if you're a startup, you can still be able to plug in. And
Hmm.
it's wins for, again, doing things the right way and doing it for something meaningful. And the wins are also from, again, when you quality people willing to get it as close to right as possible. You don't get it perfect, but if we focus on getting it as close to right as possible, people are going to see that. And when people see that, they're going to figure out a way to support you. So, yes, you're going to hear me multiple times say thank you because you have to thank people that are willing to support you. You have to.
Yes.
Be confident, but be humble about it. You can, like we said, you can walk and chew gum at the same time. You can be confident knowing that you're doing something quality, but you can be humble to show a measure of gratitude to people who think enough of you. Especially if you're coming from outside of the state of Georgia, you're flying in from Chicago, you're flying in from New York, you're driving whatever 4, 5, 6 hours. Like I said, one of my relatives that lives in Bowling Green, Kentucky, Louisville's like an hour and a half, but he's driven whatever the 4.5, 5 hours to come
Yeah.
to us. You don't take you don't take that lightly.
You
And
don't.
you do not take that lightly. You show respect to people, and you'll be surprised the respect that comes back. Even this year, the people have been hitting like, share, send. People have been constructively commenting. Whether you've been before or this is your first time, just the buzz and the energy from our audience is is exciting, humbling, and that want to see what can we do, what can we squeeze out a little bit, what can we add? And like I said earlier, to have a second title sponsor, that doesn't happen. People are supporting you because they see you trying to get it. For us to have Anheuser-Busch on board, that's huge. And
It's
even with,
huge.
so like I said
Mm-hmm.
before, Woodford Reserve is the official Churchill Dam. And yet they see enough in us to support us. That is huge. That's
Yes. So do this for us. Take us on a journey. So here you are. Let's say you entered your freshman sophomore year of college. I'm not sure which year that you actually joined your brotherhood, because that's what it is. I hate people just saying, well, when did you pledge? No, that's personal. You don't just put that out there. But take us on a journey. So here you are. You're ready. Something is calling you to service.
mhm.
You have five fraternities. Why Alpha Phi Alpha? What was it that you looked and you knew? You know nothing else against my fellow Greek brothers, but this is me.
Well, I'll tell you what, that's a fair question, and that's a legit question for anyone who's a member of any of our Divine Nine organizations. And I'd be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the work that everybody does.
Yes, yes,
My alpha journey really started at home. My dad is actually my fraternity brother who's initiated through Kentucky State University. Two of my uncles slash his brothers um, also went through Kentucky State. So when I think about growing up from sports to church activities to community activities, dad played an instrumental role in finding out he was a member, and then two of his brothers were members. When I got to campus of Wake Forest University, I'll share how long I've been attorney in a moment. The chapter on campus was very engaged. I remember there was a volunteer piece that was done at the Best Choice Center in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. That was an after-school tutoring program where a number of the brothers volunteered. I want to say once every 2, 3 weekends for the main shelter, where you volunteered from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. for those that were without a home. There were members of the chapter, undergrad students that volunteered. When you think about other community pieces from blood drives to engagement with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Winston-Salem, Forsyth County. A number of members of the chapter were, and then when you think about campus leadership, from student council to honor council to marching band, it seemed like there were members of that chapter that were not only handling their business in the classrooms with ability, but they were involved in campus leadership. They were involved in community outreach, and I'm borrowing a lot that I said from the interview that I just did before coming on. Service isn't sedentary. I'll say that one more time. Service isn't sedentary. And to see those examples growing up, to see those examples on campus, that's what I felt, that if the opportunity presented itself, that was be something that I would pursue. And I'm very thankful that people saw something in me that I might not have seen in myself. I think that's real big. You see things in yourself that you don't, and people saw something in me that I might not have seen in myself, and I'm very thankful for that opportunity. So now, as of April 13th, 32 years later, hey, I've met some wonderful people within the fraternity, wonderful people across our fraternities, stories, just wonderful people in general. And while I'll say this is more of an extension than a definition, it's an extension of who I am. And because of that extension, that's allowed me to go where I've been able to go, to do what I've been able to do, and understand there's still more that I'm capable of doing. As great of the work that, quote, I've done, I haven't done my greatest. And that's not downgrading what I've been able to do. It's letting me know that I have to continue to build, continue to learn,
Yes.
continue to grow, continue to give back, continue to seed plant. So whether it's right now, I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. I'm gonna be back in Atlanta in a couple days, but whether I'm in Birmingham or whether I'm in Atlanta or whether I'm in North Carolina, whether I'm back in Chicago or I'm back in Jersey, there's a charge that we have, and bringing it all back not only from my fraternity experience, but in regards to part of the purpose behind why the Alphas of Atlanta nonprofit is doing this event. And as I stated, the purpose behind it, but all of us understand we have a charge to keep. We have a charge.
Well, thank you so much for that.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. You know what? Been on you for how many? About 5, 6 years. I ain't never heard that story.
Part of the reason you didn't know it is because it wasn't the time for you to ask it. Tonight was the time to ask it.
That
So
is powerful.
That
That part.
happens. That's real. I get it. I get it. Yo, what else you got going on, man? Like after Alpha Derby weekend, what you got? What you getting into? Because you always got something going. You ain't just got author on your name, and ain't nothing happening.
Right.
real briefly, the main reason I'm in Birmingham is that I'm a participating author for the Behind the Ink Book Festival taking place this Saturday at the Harbor Center from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central Time. So I'm very grateful to the organizers, Meetown Book Club, for being able to have me as a part of it. After the Derby's over, I will probably take a day or two to catch up on some sleep, and then I'm back in Louisville, Kentucky, May 13th, doing some work with one of my collaborative partners, Fontaine Coffee, with our coffee partner. Um, yeah, we are. Yeah, like you said, there's always something, and that's with anybody. All of us have something professionally going on or community-wise going on. So I'm just thankful to Most High for giving me the physical capacity to do what I do. You ask me how I do it, that's the best answer I can give you.
Yeah, but wait a minute, we're not gonna breeze past that because most of your famous people got their name on a bottle of liquor. My man got his on the side of a coffee bag. How did
I
that
love
partnership
it.
come about?
Wow, you know what? Honestly, divine intervention. Back in August of 2018, I was able to do a book signing at Fonte's Coffee in Louisville, Kentucky, and the owners were so kind and so gracious, and we kept in contact. And then last summer, owner calls me and ran this idea by me, and I, like anything, you take time to think about it, and everything really just came together. And last fall, actually early November, is when we released the current um, coffee brand, which is a medium roast. So you have to have a grinder because they're on Gold Cup. It's just the beans. It's basically a 1 pound bag, medium roast. But one thing that we do is we don't play around with the roasting. So literally, like for today, excuse me, the interview that I did, like the bag was just roasted like about a week ago. So we don't play around with freshness or anything along those lines. Fast forwarding to May 13th, when we're back up there, we're going to release the light roast. And on top of that, this year we're going to do for people that order online is we'll have a database, a national database of 501c3, slash nonprofit organizations. So after Mother's Day weekend, when people order online, they can earmark the percentage of their purchase to basically any nonprofit they want. So if you're in Metro Atlanta and there's a nonprofit that you feel passionate about, if it's on that database, click donation and go to them. And it's not just limited to Metro Atlanta, this is basically across the country. So I think part of that type of community footprint, like I said before, indirectly, that's an extension of my experience in the fraternity, and it comes back again, bringing it back to the Derby. It's a charge we have to keep, and so if I can do it in this lens, I'm capable of doing it through other lenses. So, like I said, just it is kind of mind-boggling when you think about it, but again, it's a blessing. I all the vouch for some, there's some wonderful things that have happened that we didn't see. Um, but again, when you try to go about your business as best as possible, and people see you're making an honest effort, you never know where it can place you. So whether part of an outstanding committee regarding the Derby, being on this platform, I mean, for anybody who feels enough to open up their platform to you, you you don't take that lightly. You show gratitude. You have confidence knowing that you can, but you don't let that confidence spill over into arrogance. And so that's where you check yourself by saying thank you, appreciate it. So yeah, that's where it all ultimately comes down to.
That's real. That's real, man. I mean, a coffee brand. That's dope. Anything written lately?
The most recent book that I released was last fall called Quotes and Notes Something's on the Horizon. So it's part think piece to where it's original quotes that I came up with the exception of one from my late grandmother. So I incorporated those quotes because those were things that have helped me. And I give a logic or rationale so people understand the meaning behind it. But then it's space for people to journal. So whether they agree with it, they disagree with it, they feel like I didn't go deep enough, because ultimately, what you put in your mind is going to come out in some way, shape, or form in your words and your actions. And this kind of piggybacking off the interview I just did just before coming on tonight, we talk so much about our physical health and your diet, but we have to take inventory of our mental health. What are we feeding our minds, basically? And so being able to do that type of think piece just to kind of help people pause and reboot. And it's not just for other people. I have to look at some of these and remind myself, okay, yeah, you do have to pause and pivot sometimes. Um, and like you guys were using in regards to your platform, to just kind of sum up one of the quotes I have is like, the size of your platform is important, but the most important thing is understanding you have a platform. And when you use it appropriately, it will allow you to get resources and places that other people can. Spaces and places could mean you could be that person that plants that seed to encourage,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I need to
Hmm.
sit, or you know what, maybe I need to take time to take inventory of the gifts that that might be, that great thing. Um, everything you do could be an event. And you do could be, some, a gift or talent that you discovered about yourself. So you never know when you use the platform appropriately and positively. You never know what type of change you can bring about. You don't. So don't underestimate who you are, what you do, and what you're capable of. Don't put limits on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Any final thoughts? Upcoming weekend, also about just anything you got going on, man. Anything you want to just let these folks know.
Well, I'd be remiss if I didn't remind people how to be a part of the Alpha Derby weekend. So they can visit the website alphaderbyweekend.com, and you can click on the menus to look at archival photos, the ticket information, sponsorship information. You may also add Alphas of Atlanta on your favorite social media platforms: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You may also add alpha_derby on Instagram and Twitter for breaking updates and things along those lines. Encourage, even if you're not able to come, just add those platforms, see the work that's taking place. So again, that's May 5th through 7th, and I'll run just real quick the entire calendar. So the morning of May 5th is the golf tournament, which is taking place at Wolf Creek Golf Course in Atlanta. We are very close to selling out all the teams. So if you're a golfer, whether you play by yourself or with a team of four or what have you, we encourage you to take advantage of that. Friday night off, where of course y'all will be in the building. Friday night party and concert that's going to take place at the College Football Hall of Fame. That is a ticketed event. Again, a ticketed event. So
Ticket, ticket, ticket. Don't just show up, people. Get a ticket.
I'm about to say, don't think you can come in there and hand them $20. You can skip the line either. That ain't how it
Man.
works.
that
No,
type
no, 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 no.
It is not that type of parties. Trust me. We want people to have fun, but we're trying to make sure that the people who have dotted the I's and crossed the T's
They
are
are there.
in there. So please get your ticket. But again, Friday night, fun kickoff party and concert with Fabo, with Young Dro, with Pastor Troy and Little Scrappy. Saturday's main event, May 6th, is taking place at the College Football Hall of Fame. That means ladies, go ahead and get the nice dresses, get the hat or fascinator. Fellas, if you have a fedora, go ahead and rock it. If not, make sure you go to the barber, get your fade tight, your beard groomed, all that type of thing. Come on, break out the spring slacks and jackets. This is the
It's tough. I mean, actually, no, I've seen images. No, there's no such thing as just hitting the barbershop. Go get a fedora. There are too many shops in Atlanta, too many private owned boutiques that operate sometimes even out of their van. They will come to you. And if anyone is looking at the dope show, you're a gentleman and you say, I want to go, then aside from getting your ticket, reach out to us. I have a hat man, two of them. So don't show up. Don't show up and you not right and tight and then say, hey, I know DJ Agnes Miss Parker. No, you
Hey,
don't.
wait a minute. So your hat man do sizes bigger than 8?
Absolutely he does.
All right.
Abs-
I don't want no thick me Parker because I'm at about
absolutely.
because with the locks I'm at about a 8 and a quarter,
Listen,
8 and a third right now.
he's the real deal. You need, gentlemen, you need your fedora because the ladies are going to step out with their hats and their gloves and their dresses. They're going to be on point, and definitely the stilettos are going to be there. So, gentlemen, you got to be on point. Bring that fedora.
Having said all that, you heard it, you heard it right. We're definitely excited about again Saturday's main event, which is going to be at the College Football Hall of Fame. Again, ticketed event, ladies and gentlemen, and then we will conclude with our Sunday brunch at our host hotel, which is the Omni Atlanta. So it'll be the buffet, of course, when the time is right, and for the 21 and older, it'll be the bottomless mimosas. Just a great way to kind of wind things down and just celebrate a good weekend, celebrating with good people, and of course, we're celebrating the good cause behind it. So, again, alphaderbyweekend.com. Visit the website, check out what we're doing, and we humbly ask for your support. So, whether you can come for a day come for a weekend, or you know it, you're like, I might not be able to do it, but I know someone who likes this. Please like, share, what have you. And like I said before, if you're a smaller, if you're a business owner, business sponsorship start at 150. So that way, even if you're
Not bad.
a startup, we're
at
making
all.
we're
That's a
making it
steal.
accessible as possible for people to come out, enjoy yourself. Like you said earlier, the networking opportunities, just have a fun time for a fun cause. So that's really, the biggest thing. And people can connect with me. Probably the easiest way is Instagram, author A. Snorton. Feel free to connect. Ask me, about questions regarding the Derby, any of the other moving parts that we talked about tonight. And like I said, I'd be remiss if I did not say again, thank you for opening up your platform. Thank you for the work that you did last year. People, when you got, ATL's hottest, what, 2 years in a row?
Yeah. Well, it was 3 wins, but it was 2 DJ awards in a row.
Two DJ awards in a row, who knows his music, he knows how to connect with the audience. Ms. Parker, look at here. She, come on. When I said South Side, Chicago South Side, West Side, that's all you need to know.
That's all.
Tony, and you probably know one of my spots. Family Dens. You already know.
Say it again.
Family Den in South Side.
Say less. Absolutely.
Family Den in the dating game. That's all I'm gonna say. But
Oh my gosh, the dating game. Oh, I have stories. I have stories.
yeah, but shouts to, seriously, shouts to the good people up in everywhere. Of course, we're shouting out Chicago, but shouts to everybody wherever you're watching. Shouts, best wishes, continued blessings. But like I said, you can easiest way, hit me up on Instagram at author A Snorton if you have general questions about the Derby, what we talked about tonight, or anything. Please do that. And like I said earlier, for the Alpha Derby weekend, Alphas of Atlanta on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Alpha underscore Derby on Instagram and Twitter. And of course, the website, the one stop shop, alphaderbyweekend.com. And of course, we welcome everybody. Get your ticket. We welcome everybody.
Right.
And, businesses, get your sponsorship. But we welcome everybody to join us in the winner circle.
No doubt, man. Yo, I appreciate you coming through, man. And really, what I'm saying? Like, one, we hadn't done this in a while anyway. And then it's one of those things where, when you reached out to me, it was like, well, shoot, I was about to reach out to you. So I was looking at, yo, it's that time of the year. And he was like, yeah, it's that time of the year. And then I noticed, y'all, I'm down on the official paperwork for Alpha Derby Weekend. Dope Enterprise is listed as media. I'm like, ah, mama, look, it's my name, and it's not next to a mugshot. Ah,
Hey, man. You,
so I definitely want to appreciate you for that, man, for just giving me the opportunity.
Look, you've given a number of people opportunities in your own way, shape, and form. And last year, like I said, you brought a great energy, a great spirit, and there's something that can be said for genuine people, and there's something to be said, for the work you're doing, the work Ms. Parker's doing. I'm grateful that you thought enough of us to be a part of what we're doing, and just being able to, hey, here's some folks that are trying to get it right, that are doing quality things. You need to keep them on the radar. And like my grandmom said, take time to see about these folks. See about.
Yeah, see about your folk, man. That's real though. That's real. Um, like I said, yo, appreciate everything, Miss Parker. You got something for?
I know, but just keep in mind we'll be there on Friday, and I'm getting my ticket for Saturday, so you'll probably see my face all weekend because we have to continue to support. Not only are we stepping out for excellent cause and having a good time, but we need to definitely continue to support the work that you all do in the community that benefits not only our young black men, but our young people, period. So absolutely, you have our support, my personal support, everything.
Thank you, thank you. And like I said, it means a lot. it really does mean a lot, seriously. So thank you.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All right, but look, like I said, Alpha, what is it? Alpha underscore Derby, um, Alphas of Atlanta, Arthur H. Norton.
Yes, Alpha underscore Derby on Instagram and Twitter. Alphas of Atlanta on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if people just want to contact me directly, Author A Snorton on Instagram. Those will be the easiest ways. And then, of course, the website, alphaderbyweekend.com. Those will be the best ways if you have questions, things along those lines, and try to direct you where we can. So, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, indeed.
Fantastic.
Yes, indeed. I appreciate everybody that stopped through tonight. Appreciate Tina Cheatham, my LF. Yo, like, you know what I'm saying? If nobody's gonna show up, y'all two gonna show up and be in the chat. And I definitely appreciate y'all for y'all continued support. Also, for the people who came in and didn't say nothing in the chat, I appreciate y'all for the looking. You know what I'm saying? They want to look in, but they don't say nothing. But they like, man, they like they having fun in there. It's cool. We leave the door unlocked. Y'all can just come on in. It's open doors. I promise you. Definitely stay on the lookout for the quick 30 next week as well as the dope show. Nothing planned as of yet, but something's gonna happen. That much I know.
No,
uh
you gotta look at it too. You gotta next week. That's the big day. If you are a NFL fan, that is the big day. That is draft
draft
day.
draft day. That is
That is
true.
draft day.
That is
So
true.
yeah, so we might need to do something with that. That's draft day because I know if you are a Chicago Bears fan like this woman here, we can't wait till Thursday. It's all about building around number one. So, yes, draft day. We're excited.
I just want a running back. That's all I just want a running back. That's
Yeah.
it. Possibly a quarterback, but I don't want to say that too loud. But definitely I need another running back. Maybe two. Maybe
Well, all
two.
I'll say is this to the Chicago Bears fans' credit. Chicago's general manager is doing an outstanding job of having cleared out cap space, having built up draft capital, and they still got some chips that they're holding on to. So I think I'll say this: if someone out there is a Chicago Bears fan, they are positioning themselves to really. You should see some improvement. You really
Oh,
should see.
absolutely. And I've always said for the longest time that it's going to take a bear to build a bear. And although we don't remember, a lot of people might not remember his short time with the Chicago Bears, but Ryan Poles is definitely a bear. So we're very excited with the direction that he is taking the organization in because even at first, some of the moves that he made, like even us not re-signing Roquan Smith and then looking in the middle of the year and your things, wait a minute, how did this happen? So of course we side-eyed him for a moment, but then we look at what came behind that. We says, okay, okay, we see you. Okay. And then there was someone too. There was someone he said, listen, there's someone on this team that is going to impress you all. Because at first the fan base, we're like, hold on, Roquan, really? This is who you get rid of? But then we were able to see some major talent in a very young upcoming Jack Sanborn. So we're excited. We're excited. So I've been waiting. I've been doing a countdown, waiting for April 27th. So yes, so also everyone who logs into the dope show, log in because it might be a little non-traditional next week. What do you say, DJ? Because again, we got to run it through agony. So
Hey, look, between now and Thursday, we'll figure something out.
yeah, so we'll figure it out. But yes, it is draft day.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed, man. But yeah, follow us everywhere. Dope Enterprise on Facebook, Dope Enterprise on YouTube, Dope Dot Enterprise on Instagram. Like I said, it's so much more stuff that's happening, y'all. That y'all just gotta stay tuned and you know what I'm saying. If nothing else, if you can't be there, just virtually be there for support, man. Because with some of these doors I'm walking in, y'all can't directly walk in with me, but I got a new phone, y'all, so I can store more now. So I'll invite y'all in virtually. Y'all can just, come on with me. Come on with your boy. Miss Parker, what you got for him?
Oh well, we're just honestly last week. So if anyone who was on the show last week, maybe just apologize. One thing that I take very serious, I take my commitments very seriously. And after Agony was like, hey, I'm feeling this back and forth that we have with the planning period. I'm excited about where we're going. I am one of those people that if I can't give 100%, then I won't show up. Last week was just, I have to be transparent. Last week was just unexpected. On my way in, and as I'm sitting at the light, my right axle breaks on my car. So, of course, I would say, as a woman, yes, I'm automatically frustrated. Oh my gosh, my car. But then when I truly think about the fact that that axle didn't break on the expressway, or that axle didn't break while I was in movement, God had his hands on me the entire time. So, although it was a big inconvenience, I'm still here. I'm still here. So I'm very, very grateful. I'm grateful for it happening the way it did. But when I had to step away, it's because, and I have to give a shameless plug. If anyone in the Atlanta area is looking for some of the best certified mobile mechanics that come directly to you, definitely hit us up after this. But shout out to Auto World Mobile, because I literally came in at 7:30, made a phone call to them, and they were actually here by 8:45, which is why you all saw me do a major exit. But again, I apologize for pretty much cutting things short, but I definitely had to be with my mechanic and kind of go from there. But God is good. It's a blessing to still be here, because you hear about so many freak things, freak accidents. I mean, even I saw a video the day before where it was a vehicle driving on the expressway. The wheel rolled off. It hit a Kia Soul, and the Kia Soul flipped. So,
Mhm.
sometimes God will just send different messages to you. But the fact that I was sitting at the front of a busy intersection, I was at a light, and bam, it just snapped. So I'm still here. No one was injured. And then shout out to State Farm, because they got to me in 8 minutes. I said, "Oh my gosh!" So yes,
You talking
so
about
so
you talking about
yes,
with the khakis?
it was Jake from State Farm.
With the
Yeah, with
khakis? Get there that
with
fast?
the khakis. But yes,
Man.
like I said, everything just fell in place. So again, please accept my apology for not being 100% last week, but I am here and grateful for being here, grateful for life. So I just want to share that with you all, because I know you all saw me do a mad dash out the door, and we had a couple of the topics that we want to touch on as well last week. So again, thank you for your understanding, but please accept my apology for lack of professionalism. But it was
Uh,
not intentional.
I'm about to say it's all good, man. Like, nobody's tripping because life happens. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Them axles be tripping, man.
What? I mean,
But
listen.
but the thankful part is, like you said, you know what I'm saying, you weren't in motion on the expressway, and you know what I'm saying, you was able to get that done and nobody got hurt.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Like Tina said, no worries. Things happen.
Things happen.
Yes indeed. Yes indeed.
Appreciate you, Tina. But also just want to take a moment, just to kind, we hate being the bearer of bad news. I don't know if anyone has stayed attached to the news. So February 25th was a Saturday, and something tragic happened, and it's surrounding a gentleman that I met in the cigar industry. And of course, it's just so funny that DJ Agony went to school with him. So we actually had a common friend. He and his business partner went missing on February 25th, and we're talking about Jason Salter and Kenny Guerra. So they went missing. The families got out there. They canvassed the neighborhoods. They passed out flyers. Anyone who knew them was sharing things on social media platforms. Bring them home, because these gentlemen, you have children, families, you have loved ones who were just exceptionally concerned, because this was just not their norm. Well, unfortunately, there were bodies that were found March 11th, not too far from the location where they said that their cars were last seen. And then, of course, at that point, the GBI had to do work. Unfortunately, it was confirmed that one of the two, we learned that on this past Tuesday, that one of the two that was identified was that of our dear friend Jason. So we're just sending all the love possibly to his family, to people that he impacted. Like I said, I'm gonna miss that big old smile. But it's sad. It's sad. So during this time, one of my biggest encouragements, if you all are willing to listen, is stop the rumors. Just stop the sidebar of what do you think happened, what do you think, what do you know. At the end of the day, there's a mother who doesn't care less, who could care less. There's siblings that could care less. There are people who loved him and loved Kenny that could care less. So right now, we do know that they are listing this as a homicide, and there will be a thorough investigation. But in the meantime, let's send all the prayers and love to their children, to the people who love them, their family members. And like I said, let's stop the, oh, well, I heard this, I heard that. At the end of the day, let's remember what we remember. And these were gentlemen who were in the community. They had their own business in the community. Jason was one of the best bartenders in the city of Atlanta. And he never met a stranger. He never met a stranger. And he was not a selfish guy. So he was that guy that if you knew, like, I'll tell a quick story. I had just taken over managing a cigar lounge, King Cigar Lounge, 1155 Virginia Avenue. And shameless plug. So I just had had taken over as the manager, and he would come in and he would just randomly order just the weirdest stuff. And I'm like, what is that? And he would say, Stephanie, my goal for you is I'm going to make you the number two bartender or the number two mixologist in Atlanta. That was his thing. Anyone who he came in contact with, if he had an opportunity to try to make you better at your craft, that is what he did. And that's what I choose to remember. So in the meantime, understand that even if you believe that the rumors and the sidebar conversations are just amongst your circle, walls talk. Right, so the walls have ears. And we want to keep this just whatever you think, please keep it to yourself. Because now we have a family that has to usher in a new normal. And there is nothing normal about this. So, shout out to the big shout out to the family and prayers. And please let us know if there's anything that we can do. But I will stay attached to different sources just to kind of find out when services are. But yeah, well, we definitely just want to take a moment because again, we wouldn't be who we are personally if we didn't acknowledge someone that we both knew and loved.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
So
indeed. You said that to where, yeah, I don't really have anything to add on, man. Just RP to him, and you know what I'm saying. Um, best wishes and thoughts go out to his family, man. Because like you said, it's a new norm, and norm ain't even the word we should be using right now.
right. And then unfortunately, too, with the second body that they found, they still haven't confirmed that that's Kenny. So that has to be further torture on that family. So although we have a confirmation on Jason, we still want to send love and light to the Guerra family as well, because hopefully within a matter of days that they will know something. So
Absolutely.
yeah,
Definitely, absolutely, absolutely, man. Yo, so definitely give it a moment of time just to really shout out to, because like you said, life happens. You know what I'm saying? So we have to take that time out from the entertaining part and just really address some things when it come down to just real life, y'all. Because it's real out here, you know. Getting back though, yo, May 5th through 7th, get y'all tickets. Follow all the links, follow the likes. Make sure and here's my biggest thing, y'all. The freest thing you could do to support, hit that share button.
Yes.
Anytime you see a share button, just hit it. It'll go somewhere. Somebody will see it. So that's the freest, cheapest, easiest form of support. Just hit the share button. Just hit the share button. Thank you, Andrew Snorton, for coming out. Thank you, Miss Parker, for being here once again, doing that thing you do. I appreciate y'all. As I like to end every show, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery that mediocrity and petty greatness. I am DJ Agony. That is author Andrew Snorton. That is Miss Parker. And we out. Peace.
Peace.